I began preparing for this day of celebration, I looked for words that would best epitomize this time. And Sigmund Freud once said, "Love and work, that's all there is." But Freud wasn't from Pomona. And as I dug a little deeper and reflected on the long friendship that I've had with Juan and Susie, the words that I feel best describe this occasion come from Victor Hugo. Love is the only future God gives us. The story of Juan and Susie's relationship leading up to this moment commits to us the striking truth that God did not leave behind some old static rules to govern matrimony or the institution of marriage. But in Juan and Susie, I see a fine golden thread leading me to believe that that quiet, unassuming divine mystery that comes from above actually permeates the world in which we live, move, and have our being. I had met Susie shortly after I had moved to California. I was living, or squatting, in an art gallery in downtown Santa Ana. And she was managing a frame shop across town. And although they didn't need help at the time, she had convinced the store to hire me on. And the only thing I remember about those days is that they went by too fast. They were great. All we did was work and laugh. And I would go to work for the sole purpose of just trying to make Susie laugh harder than the day before. And at that time, Susie was in a dark hour. She was uncertain as to life's certainty and happiness, direction. But when I finally dragged her down for a few openings in the artist village, everybody took her in, and I barely saw her ever after that. Potato salad. Potato salad? And Ed Jardina dubbed her as the mom in residence at our gallery of scruffy boys. And she found that a new chapter had opened up in a warm community that embraced her. And she found the strength of heart in a new cast of characters. Juan had met Susie shortly after she had moved to Pomona. And Juan has many rare gifts. He has a commendable degree of patience. He has a childlike innocence and a preternatural command of robots. He would need all three to lose Susie. Juan would simply walk her home. They talked all night. They worked together. They took time. And they needed the one assurance, the one thing that they could take with them into the future, the one thing that casts out fear, the love only God can give. And on this day of celebration, we look back at the grace and love unique to Juan and Susie. And as friends and family, we look on with tremendous joy at the grace prepared for them. So I leave you with my blessing, one that I've found at times of need, also times when I was looking for wisdom myself. The words of the Apostle John. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. Because fear hath torment, and he that fears is not made perfect in love. Marriage and the love of marriage is one of the most natural revelations of God's love to us. The love that we share together brings us together as the vitality of marriage. And I pray that you would grow in this love together, that it may bring the future that God has for you. And now I would ask that you would respond to this blessing and enter into your special sacred covenant together with the reading of the vows. Would you repeat, Juan, would you repeat after me? I, Juan David Thorpe, take Susie to be my beloved wife, to go forward with you in the hope of God's grace, to strengthen our faith and our love in His mercy through sickness and in health. Till death do us part.
Turn the lights on under there.
Susie, would you repeat?
Light bar up there.
I, Susie, take thee, Juan, to be my beloved husband, to move forward with you in the hope of God's love, to encourage our faith, and strive for perfect love, through sickness and in health, till death do us part. I now invite the community to share in the joy of this blessing with the blessing of the rings.
Before we bless these rings, I just want to mention that someone once told me that everyone who gives sermons, coming from who knows what tradition, has really only one sermon to preach. And I think that's true in my case. I've always told people that God has fallen madly in love with us. He loves us exactly the way we are. We don't have to do anything. We just receive God's love. You are a tremendous blessing to Susie and Juan. Your presence here says so much. To extend this blessing that you are even further. At this time, everyone here has the opportunity to hold on to the rings that this couple will share with one another. Hold these rings and bless them. Say a prayer, think a thought, and pass these rings to the one next to you.